All right, welcome back to the show. It is June 23rd here in Iowa, and today you find me upset, annoyed, probably pissed off because Bryce, what and who do we have to sacrifice to put an end to this wind? We are on our fourth consecutive day of 35-mile-per-hour gusts here in the state. This is not the middle of March or April. For God's sake, we are at the end of June, and there's been no break to this wind. It's winding from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and then from 10 p.m. to 9 a.m. the next day. It's unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it.
Oh, it's horrible. I didn't even attempt to hit a golf ball this weekend. There was no shot between the heat, the wind, which, can I say something in favor of the wind?
Yeah.
The wind saved us. We would have roasted.
Yeah.
I forget how hot 95 degrees is, and I totally hear you. We've had the windiest spring and start to summer ever, but it did kind of save us this weekend.
Yeah, you caught me saying that a couple of times throughout the week, saying thank God for the wind.
Yeah.
You know,
But
so
it is crazy. Like it's hard to do stuff. Like it's
hard
not
to-
as fun at the pool when it's windy. It's not as fun on the golf course when it's windy. It's not as fun rowing down the Decorah River when it's windy.
eh, I can't even think to myself that it's so windy. You ever get to that state of mind where you just can't think? You're like, what the hell? You can't have conversations with others next to you. We
Yeah.
went and played golf yesterday. We just did three of us, and terrible. I mean, it wasn't a terrible time, but you just can't have any conversations out
hmm
there. I had two pickups. Didn't even finish two holes. Worst
Yeah.
round of the year. Uh, I don't know, man. Like I said, this I've never seen anything like this. 4 straight days at the end of June. Yeah, I mean, but you're right. It is. You would be sweating balls out there. That's for sure. I mean, you already are, but the wind does cool you down a tad.
Yeah. Yeah. We can't buy a tornado, but we get wind for free. The funny thing about it's funny that you picked up. I was texting some people. They were frustrated with their golf rounds this weekend because they had, I think they said 4 or 5 different 115-yard shots that all played differently because of the
Mm-hmm.
wind. It's like I can't judge this. Like it's taking all the fun out of the game. Nevertheless, I think. Would you rather have wind than the week that we have coming up with all the thunderstorms?
No, I love thunderstorms. No
I
way.
do. I do too. But what's scary is we're supposed to take engagement photos tomorrow night, the day after this pod launches,
Oh
and it's throwing a wrench in our plan. We already
no.
rescheduled the ones for a golf tournament, and now we're gonna have to hit up this poor photographer and be like, "Hey, we're that couple, the high maintenance couple that you have to reschedule around again." But
Well, yeah, it's risky, but if they work out just in time, if you get like a shelf cloud in the background or maybe a lightning
oh, that
strike 30 miles away,
that's true.
you might put your fiance and the photographer at risk and in danger of their life. But it would be a hell of a shot if you can get a
Yeah,
little storm
that's
action in the background.
okay. That's a positive spin on it. I like that.
Mhm.
I think, are heading to some random field around the Des Moines area
Oh,
for that typical, jeans, holding hands in the prairie kind of thing.
yeah.
And then I think some of it will be indoors. But man, a little shelf cloud, a little lightning. I like the sound of that.
Yeah, that reminds me last year when maybe 2 years, I don't know, 2 years ago when we were doing our engagement photos, we're going to do it in early August, but the
hmm
temperature was supposed to go 100 degrees every single day. So we end up just rescheduling it and pushing it to Iowa City a couple weeks later when it was 80 and much better. Yeah, there's nothing worse than being in jeans and those cotton held t-shirts and it's
Yeah.
100 degrees out and you have to smile and being
What's
awkward.
funny is like usually it's the girl I feel like in the relationship that wants to take the photos, and I think she might be less excited for them than I am. So we're gonna be sweating and hopefully just enough to fake a smile. But yeah, dude, it's all wedding stuff for us. If you ask me how my weekend was or what we're up to, it's gonna be that for the next year.
Even this last weekend.
Yeah, this last weekend I actually got to see you. We biked a little bit Thursday night. I came up to the Cedar Falls
Yeah.
office and hung out that Friday, and we got a little bike to single speed the night before. Cedar Falls trails are still immaculate. It was so good to be back biking the Cedar Falls trail around the Cedar River. Great beer at single speed. But yeah, otherwise we were chilling. We got our house in order. We've been this and that every single weekend this year, so we didn't do a whole lot.
Yeah, I did. We've been trying to do this here and there. It's kind of hard when you live in such a smaller state. Giving a shout out to our Iowan of the week, Bryce. I do have
Yeah.
an Iowan of the week for you.
Okay. All right.
This
Let's
would
do
be
it.
kind of a rare occasion, but our good friend Scotty Burek.
Yeah.
Our good friend Scotty flies out today to go to Budapest to get married to the love of his life, Dusty, uh, your future sister-in-law,
Yes.
and Scotty has decided to quit drinking for the last 3 months,
Mm-hmm.
go on a rampage of biking, be a workout enthusiast,
Mm-hmm.
ride Ragbri by himself across the
Mm-hmm.
state, all by himself. Like I said,
Yeah.
Scotty Burek, you are my Iron of the week. It's encouraging, man.
Yeah. Scotty B doesn't get a lot of FaceTime on the camera, but he is a mover and shaker in the Iowa Chill world, and he has really taken his personal fitness to another level. So he did 75 hard, which I feel like has gotten really popular the last 3 years, and he crushed it. He was down like 40 pounds, and yeah, like you said, it's been just on the workout grind. So he's looking great for wedding pictures, and safe travels to him and Dusty as they head to Budapest. And, well, I guess they're going to be cruising all over Europe. They have a river cruise for 2 weeks. So,
Jeez.
yeah, Scotty B deserves a good shout out.
Yeah, nobody travels better than him. So it's encouraging to see in Iowa, like Logan Paulson says, to push yourself outside of your comfort zone and get outside of the Iowa bubble and go experience the world. And nobody does that better than Scotty. He got engaged in Australia, getting married in Budapest, and we're going to Las Vegas to celebrate his wedding. So
Yes.
he's got us on a freaking roller coaster. It's uncomfortable, but I love the times. So I applaud him for pushing us outside our comfort zones and just living life to the fullest. So shout out to you, Scotty Burrak. Bryce, I spent my weekend on the upper Iowa River canoeing down in Decorah, Iowa. And I caught myself many times that day saying, thank God for the wind. Otherwise, it was going to be a long day in that river. It really wasn't too bad. You had a lot of tree blockage, so you didn't have some wind at some times, but for the most part, the wind felt nice, little breeze in your face. I think we got in the river around 12, got out of it around 6. So we had a 6-hour adventure and a beautiful. Decorah is everything we've stated it as it is on this podcast, and I stick to it, man. The water was clear, even though it was a little flooded. It was still pretty clear, and just a bunch of good people and good times rolling down that river. It was a busy day.
So who all went with you guys?
It would have been my in-laws, my parents, my wife Madison, and her sister Jamie, and her new boyfriend Adam, and his kid. So we had a group of 7 of us, I think. 7 of us, and man, we did some drinking. And the wife got a little cocky about 2 hours into the trip saying, I haven't drank water all day.
Oh.
And I knew right there and then this is not going to end well.
Yep.
About 3 minutes out from our landing spot, getting out of the river, and I asked for her to get me water because the cooler was towards her side of the canoe. And she stands up, looks at me, and just falls straight into the river.
Oh, no.
And it was the slowest moving thing I've ever seen. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, you're clearly drunk. She's going to be mad if I'm saying this on pipe. She wasn't that bad.
That's fine. I mean,
it was a funny fall. And as this happened, the 2 other canoes were up there waiting for us. We're like, what the hell happened? My parent-in-laws, they flipped their canoe.
Oh.
So, yeah. And then at that point, you realize how strong these little currents can be in some spots.
Yes.
And God, we were so close to having a perfect ride, but in the final 3-minute stretch, the river took claim of us. But yeah, it's all part of the experience. No one got injured. The backs might have been a little sore the next day. No one really got burnt either. So overall, a successful experience up in the upper Iowa.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you had a good time because we were talking on Thursday before you went and you had seen the forecast, 95 degrees, windy, and you weren't, I wouldn't say you were anti and hoping it would get canceled, but I think you were probably leaning that way. And so I'm glad you had a good time. And it is amazing when you do one of those things, especially right now with all the rain we've had and the wind. I'm sure that current was crazy. So what was the river like up there? Was it pretty flooded or was it normal water?
Not really.
Levels? Okay.
So I asked the guy dropping us off with the canoes. I'm like, hey, how's the river? He's like, it's 8 inches higher than it typically is.
Oh,
which is hard for me to believe because I would say for the majority of the part in the river, you're probably about a little over a foot deep. I can easily stick my paddle and touch. So at most times you stand in that water, even in the middle of the river, you're about knee high. And so I can't imagine if it was any lower than what it was. So it was a healthy amount for a good canoe. So you were able to roll down the river at a decent speed. But the coolest part of the trip, I would say, is at the end of the river where you get out, there's a bar there. And this place
Oh,
is in the middle of
cool.
nowhere. It's like a little river bar. Super. It's not like a redneck bar or anything. It's kind of like a bougie river bar, which is awesome. It's got open garage doors where you can go outside. They have live music going on, very well up to date, awesome pizza, and just like I said, a lot of people there just having a really good time. So
That sounds
really cool
cool.
experience. Kind of a little hidden gem up there in Decorah.
That sounds way cool. Yeah, I mean, hot, but otherwise sounds like a great trip. Is river floating and canoeing down a river like a top 5 Iowa activity?
I don't have a whole bunch of experience doing it back in my day. I would take tubing out of the mix and I
Okay.
would do kayaking, canoeing because
Mm-hmm.
at that point you can control your destiny and your speed. If you're in
Yes.
a tube, you're at the
You're at,
river's mercy.
yeah.
And 2 years ago, I was in a golf tournament. Thank God that day. It was like 95-degree day. My coworkers had a team outing at a river in the Wapsie-Pittican River, and
Mm-hmm.
the majority of them floated. Let's just say we had 3 people calling to work that Monday because their
Mm-hmm.
body was so burnt and fried.
Yeah.
And the river that year, it was super shallow because we just had no rain 2 years ago. If anyone remembers that dry summer, so the river was terrible, and they're all in tubes. You had to get up out of the river and keep pulling to the next spot, and it just took them forever.
Yeah, it's scary
So
one if the river's high, but at that point, at least keeps you moving. So I agree with you. We started doing that at the North Skunk River in Pella. So I did a little bit of it there. We do one every year in Wisconsin when I go up for the family trip in the Northwoods. And we did, I think I told you on Thursday that we did do a 4th of July river float 5 years ago, probably. And I'm pretty much good on floating from here on out. Like I agree. I don't like the fact that you just kind of have to wait for the river to take you. And I don't love the fact that you're kind of always in that crunch little position.
hmm
But
how
I think it's
how
I think
how long were your floats?
the North Skunk one's like 20 miles. I think the Wisconsin one's about 8. Um, so it can be anywhere from 3 to 6 hours. I'd say
Yeah, I think
depends
a
on how
good.
fast you go.
I think if you were just kayak it or float it straight, I think it should be 2 hours. Now you add like 3 stops in there, and then you're at like a little 3.5 hours. That's a perfect time. I don't want to be in the river any longer than three and a
Agreed.
half, 4 hours. Make it
Agreed.
short and sweet because it takes up the whole entire day.
Yeah.
And then by then you're absolutely cooked. I mean, none of us would even talk on the way home, sitting in the sun
Yeah.
all day and sitting there
Yeah.
for 6+ hours. So yeah, I don't know. Overall, it was a good time. Like I said, the
Sounds
wind
like a
kind of
good
helped.
weekend.
Yeah, it was. We survived it, and I was scared leading up to it, but we got the job done. Bryce, you know the drill.
Yes.
We got 3 Iowans coming to your door,
Mm-hmm.
knocking to have a beer with you, but you can only
Mm-hmm.
choose one of these Iowans to have a beer. A, Jamie Pollard. B, TJ Otzelberger.
Mm-hmm.
Or C, Matt Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
None
I
of
think I
them.
want to talk to the Otts. I think I want TJ Otzelberger for my beer. I don't know why I'm picking TJ because I think it's probably a toss up between TJ and Matt Campbell. I think both those guys have completely turned the programs around, or at least continued the success of a program and brought it to new heights. But I like the Otts build. He looks like a wrestler as a basketball coach, and I love his fire. I love what he's done with that program, and I would love to hang out with him and have a beer.
You might be careful with that one because by the end of that beer, you might be in boot camp. with
Yeah,
TJ
yeah,
Otzelberger.
that's
That you got to
true.
worry about. He looks like a sergeant in the army. So
He does.
if you can get past the boot camp, I'm sure the beer would taste just delightful. Bryce, I don't even
Mm-hmm.
disagree with you for back-to-back weeks here. I'm going to go with
Okay.
Matt Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
I like his
Great
personality.
choice.
And
Mm-hmm.
when it's time to roll, he's ready to roll, but I feel like he's ready to laugh when he's ready to laugh and just sit back and enjoy a beer.
Yeah, and don't sleep on Jamie Pollard. He had an
Yeah.
article come out in the New York Times, I believe, and just highlighting the fan base. Basically, the fact that Iowa State really was little brother in the state for so long, and the success of the sports teams wasn't there, but the fan base stayed. And really, since I'd say the 2010s, you just feel a growing momentum, and a lot of it is a testament to the 2 coaches listed here. But you got to give credit to the ads and all those guys making the decisions and stuff too. And credit to the fan base for never really giving up on that program. And
Yeah,
now
I,
one of the scariest programs to play.
I got a lot of respect for Jamie Pollard because I think when I think of him, I think of his ideas, and you see
Mm-hmm.
the development around Hilton Coliseum, or more especially Jack Trice Stadium with like Town and everything they're building in. That's cool. That's really cool.
It is.
Make your university unique. It's added a much better fan experience, which Kinnick Stadium needs to do around theirs with the spread out parking.
Yeah.
I mean, still don't get me wrong, it's still an awesome time, but I would like to see a little bit more kind of consolidated parking for the university and more togetherness around the stadium. But so shout out to Jamie Pollard in that aspect, and I know it gets a lot of hate for no beer sales at athletic venues, but
that's a tough one, and he got a ton of it.
All the liabilities on his hand. As a fan, you hate it, but as an AD guy, you're like,
yeah, right. We had Barstool, the old Barstool Iowa State guy, Mason Magruder, on a few months back during basketball season, and he was one of the guys, as an Iowa State fan, that jumped on Pollard and basically everybody who he basically called slobs, and that was a bad look. But I agree with you. I think in general he's doing a lot of good stuff for the program. That being said, is Cyhawk game at Kinnick this year? No, it's at Jack Trice, which I will say I love Kinnick. I love going to Iowa City to tailgate, but because of the way that the tailgating section is spread out at Iowa State, I love tailgating at Iowa State for Cyhawk.
Oh, yeah,
so
much better. Yeah, it's a great experience there. Yeah, that football program's it's been on the rise, and there's always been fan support. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing been wrong with that. So to see the success their football team's having is only going to add to it. Right, it's a hot one today, man. Like I said, we're on our fourth freaking straight day of 35-mile-per-hour gusts and like our fourth straight day of 90-plus degree weather. Let's dive in to the Des Moines weather records and see if we're going to smash any of that records today.
Okay.
Today we're looking at a high of about 92 degrees in Des Moines. It's going to be up there, but it's not going to touch the record because the record was set back way in 1934 at 101 degrees. I bitched about the wind today. I hope to God they had wind that day. Otherwise, you're cooking, man. Lowest was 49 degrees, set back in 1958. Damn,
okay.
That's chilly for that.
That's low.
Yeah, most precipitation set at 1.66 inches in 2000. So, damn, that's warm. That's our highest temperature weather record yet day for the podcast. For history.
Yeah, it's. I don't know how to feel about this year. It's like not a lot of tornadoes. It was cold a lot of the time through May. We had some Canadian wildfire smoke, and now we just get smacked in the face with the heat. It's not a 101-degree record, but it is toasty.
I think I remember March being like one of the nicest Marches we've ever had. Beautiful. It was like almost like 65, 70 almost every day. The wind wasn't atrocious, which it usually is that time of the year. And now we're kind of paying back for the price ever since March. There's no consistency right now. That's the problem. That's what drives you nuts. And that's what you expect when you get to June and July, a little more consistent weather, even though if it's hot or not, but it's just a freaking roller coaster. And man, I just want to golf and no wind.
I hear you.
That's all I freaking want. God, but whatever. I'm done with the freaking wind.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't take. It's really pissed me off.
We could do a whole pod on complaining about the wind.
God damn. Okay, Rice, on this day, on June 23rd, history in Iowa, legendary baseball player Babe Ruth hit his first professional home run in Waterloo, Iowa in 1914. Yeah, right? Babe Ruth was the pitcher for the Baltimore Orioles and hit a home run against the minor league Waterloo Hawks.
No way that happened. That is way cool. I had no idea that.
I don't know if it actually happened. I tried resources. I found this at two different sources. I'm not going to state the sources because they're kind of sketchy. I just want to believe it.
Okay.
But I tried finding other places, couldn't find it. But I'm going to believe it because it's cool. Waterloo's got some weird shit going on there. You've had John Wayne Gacy living there for a while. You have Babe Ruth hitting his first ever home run, potentially.
Obviously, the John Deere tractor. I mean, yeah, lots of stuff. Waterloo's got some history.
Yeah. But don't hold my breath on that one, though.
I did just look it up, and I'm getting conflicting answers, but we're going to go with it and let people decide whether or not Babe hit
saw it because I looked it up. It literally said somewhere else, but
I like that we're claiming it, though, and we'll let the actual experts decide what happened.
Well, maybe the other home run you're looking at was against another actual professional team. This is against a minor league team, so maybe that's where they consider his professional.
Right. Because
So,
like, how long did Babe Ruth play in the minor leagues? They probably saw this guy ripping home runs on his first at bat, and were
well,
like,
no,
"Yo,
he
let's
was
pull
playing
this
for the
guy up too."
Baltimore. He was playing for the Baltimore Orioles. And they just played against the Waterloo Hawks. It must have been like an exhibition game.
Oh yeah, it has to be.
So he was,
Okay,
yeah.
I see
So
what you're saying.
for
I see what
now,
you're saying.
we're gonna claim that.
Cool.
It's Iowa.
This podcast is really getting close to the edge on some facts here, but I like it too because it's gonna keep people on their toes.
What we do have are some scary facts going on in the state of Iowa, Bryce, because here in Iowa news, the Iowa Department of Transportation is warning Iowa drivers that a text scam is back on the rise. And I know this from self-experience because I've been receiving nothing but text and spam phone calls, messages, nonstop.
Yep, I got it. So I got a message saying I had an unpaid toll or an unpaid speeding ticket on like Wednesday or Thursday. I kid you not, maybe 30 minutes later, I look up online, or I'm looking up Iowa News, and it's like, hey, there's a text scam going around.
I mean,
It's unbelievable. There's something new every day.
It's not just DOT, obviously. I got scammed last week. Want to hear this story?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty good about identifying scam. I feel like most people are. You know, all I do is just delete the message right away. Boom. I never pick up the spam phone calls. I let it go to voicemail, listen to it, and then delete it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Never, ever even mess with it. Last week, I get a text message saying that there's been some potential bank fraud, which I've gotten those before.
Mm-hmm.
But this one looked a little different. I'm like, God, is this actually from Veridian? And,
the Veridian scam.
So for the first time, I called this number.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an idiot. Called this number, and I'm like, hey, it looks like I might have potentially had some bank fraud, but I'm not seeing any transactions go through my Veridian. What's up? They're like, oh, give me your PIN security and all that stuff. I gave them my PIN security. And this person was so dialed in. It's exactly what you would expect from like an actual Veridian customer service.
Yeah.
Okay, it seems that they seem pretty confident what they're talking about. They're asking the right questions. Unfortunately, I've given them answers. They're like, oh no, there's no sketchy things going on. So it looks like you're all clear. If you see anything else, just give us a call back later. Later that day, I get I get a $150 transaction from Sandusky, Ohio.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, oh my God, shit. So then I flag it. I get my $150 reimbursed. Have to cancel my debit card and all that crap. But then Veridian saying that, oh no, looks like it was authorized. I'm like, oh my God. So now they're taking $150 back out of my bank account. I'm like, listen, I've never been to Sandusky, Ohio in my freaking life.
Yeah. Yep.
You got to protect me a little bit better here. I know I messed up bad.
Nate, I wish you would have reached out to us because Darian is also a Veridian credit card holder, and we had the exact same scam. So she got a text message, which they tell you if you get a text message, like don't answer it. But it comes from like they had it masked as the official Veridian credit line. And so not only did we get the text, and she said yes, she got a call. And then on the phone, they're like, hey, you should secure your account, confirm with your PIN that you own this account. I mean, exactly what you're saying. They sound extremely official. The fact that they finally said something about the PIN, I'm like, stop it. I know like Veridian was closed. It was a Saturday. So we were like antsy, like worried about it. Luckily we got a hold of like their hotline, and yeah, she's like, if it's not this number on the back of your card, like don't worry about it. And she was all good, but man, it was so close. Like I like to think we're young enough to recognize scams too, but it's tough. It is so tough to like, especially when they're that deep.
I haven't been scammed in probably 4, 5, 6 years, something like that. And this one finally got me. A little upset with myself. So right now I'm still fighting a dispute if it's fraud or not, and hopefully I don't get a $150 charge.
Be on alert for that, people, and the DOT thing. There's only going to be more and more scammers out there.
Yeah. I don't know. If you get a message, just delete it.
Yeah.
Best way to go about it. Until you actually see a transaction go through your account, it's probably the best way just to avoid it.
Yeah. Nate, last week we talked about the nitrate levels in Des Moines. And I said I'd do a little update. And I almost forgot, but this kind of reminded me. The nitrate situation in Des Moines has taken over Walkie Talkie, the community Facebook page. There's now a panic for fresh water. As usual, when there's something like this, like people run to the grocery store, they start buying up all the water jugs, and it's just caused mass havoc. So pool time is closed at daycare, and People are swarming to grab water jugs, and it is not good.
Damn, you guys are like Flint, Michigan.
We are. It's not so different from Flint. It feels kind of gross to even be in the shower right now. And honestly, like, I take my chances. I try not to drink the shower water. I'm not, pretty much being reasonable. Then I was thinking, like, what about coffee, boiling water, boiling noodles? It's like all the random shit you don't even think about. So we're in Flint, basically.
Damn, I didn't know that shit was still going on for you guys.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it will improve with the rain this week. Hopefully that helps. We got some last week too, but as of right now, people are still panicking.
Oh, geez. Well, you guys are clearly not the only people that's having issues with some water quality, because this is like the 4th time we've talked about E. coli here in the podcast, and
Yep.
we have another outbreak here in the state.
Mm-hmm.
The Iowa DNR says swimming is not advised at 9 state beaches. Let's go through these 9 state beaches. Bryce, we're going to start in the very upper northwest part of the state here at Emerson Bay Beach, which I believe is in Okoboji. Another one is North Twin Lake West Beach, Black Hawk Beach, Blue Lake Beach, all on the west side of the state. Now we go down to the south central west part of the state. 9 Eagles Beach, South Central, Bob White State Park, Central Iowa, the Pine Lake Beach, South, and now here in the northeastern Iowa, we have Beads Lake Beach and Backbone Beach. I wish they would just name the freaking lake. I feel like if the beach has it, the entire lake probably has it.
Oh, I don't understand that at all.
Yeah.
Why aren't they
like just a section of the
identifying-
lake?
Yeah. So Backbone Beach might be the river, so that might be tougher. But it seems like, like Emerson, some of these are definitely lakes. And like at that point, just say the lake. Just avoid it altogether.
Weird stuff. We've
All right, well, I'll throw that graphic on there. This is a good pod for warning people to stay away from the water. This is not a good look for Iowa, but at least we're on top of it and helping people out.
Very, very bad week here for Iowa and water, that's for sure.
We did jokingly say that the DNR basically can have a scheduled post saying, like, hey, E. coli probably shouldn't swim all summer because stuff is going to be growing all year. And, here we are again.
Clear Lake's not on the list. That's good.
That is good. That's surprising. Rare opportunity to swim at Clear Lake. Red Rock, too. Red Rock, I think I've said this on the pod before. So it's from the runoff and all the things we're struggling with here, the nitrate levels. They start growing some like blue sludge slime that looks like an alien took a dump in the lake. And that's pretty much like all summer. So if you even try to swim in Lake Red Rock, I think you're doing yourself a disservice.
You know what? When I was up in Upper Iowa, if there's one river in one area you probably want to be in, it's that area up in Decorah, and you still just feel weird about it, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what the hell is in here? This is good for me to be splashing in my mouth accidentally,
and that's the stuff we grew up doing, dude. Like we would go to the Des Moines River, Red Rock all the time, and like I didn't care as a kid, but now I'm looking back, I'm like, I'm surprised I don't have like a third limb or something crazy, some weird growth.
Well, I think it's definitely gotten worse over time too.
Yeah. Be safe out there, people. I mean, I don't even know what you do for fun in Iowa if you can't go to the lakes and rivers.
Nah, you just got to drink a couple more beers and you get past that icky stage, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, enough of the depressing water facts here in the state of Iowa. This is a little bit older news just because we were the timely podcast of the release of our podcast. I think this happened last Tuesday. Everybody knows about the Caitlin Clark fight with J.C. Sheldon.
Yeah.
But no one's benefiting more than people surrounding Caitlin Clark. It's unbelievable because Sophie Cunningham defends Caitlin Clark by throwing down J.C. Sheldon on a breakaway layup and stuck it to her. Showed her, hey, you're not going to mess with my teammates. Now, Bryce, you're probably wondering, what impact did that have on Sophie Cunningham's career? Well, her jersey sold out the following day.
Yep.
She gained over 600,000 plus followers on her Instagram and growing. Just for sticking up for her teammate in a typical basketball move in a game.
It's so crazy to me that we are abusing the number one player in the sport, and when you stick up for her or play with her or be around her even a little bit, it is the best move for your career. Like I don't understand why we aren't celebrating this like chick like she's truly LeBron. Like nobody in NBA history got treated like she's being treated, at least from what I can tell, at least from when I've been watching. And I'm like, what are we doing here? This chick is only good. This is only revenue for all of you guys. And they act like they want her out of the league.
You know what? We talked about this with the Angel Reese impact. If I'm Angel Reese's mom, I'm whispering Angel Reese's ear. I'm like, hey, don't injure her, but talk as much shit around her as you possibly can. Screw it. We're the villain. We're playing the villain role. Now you got a Reebok deal with Shaquille O'Neal and everything like that. We got to grow your social media, and no one does it better just having you breathe in the same airspace as Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I know we have talked about that quite a bit, and I do think that some people are doing it well, but the active like injury type moves,
shoving.
like going for her eye or like going for the Achilles, or that stuff is crazy to me. Like, you need this chick in your league. That's only going to be good for everybody involved. But good for Sophie. Like, Sophie doing the right thing as a teammate, being the enforcer, not so different from Draymond Green protecting Steph all those years. Like, that's awesome. That's only going to be good news for her.
Yeah, I mean, basketball's a contact sport. There's no doubt about it. But they've crossed a fine line. You know, I'm like, you guys are going a little too far. You guys trying to reach this popularity. I mean, it's worked for J.C. Sheldon, but man, if something were to happen, you're going to have the entire country up your ass in a way you never wanted it before.
Mm-hmm. So Clay Travis said Caitlin Clark shouldn't have to deal with all this. She should go start her own league. What's your thought on that?
Caitlin Clark can do whatever she wants. She's going to have the people behind her.
Agreed.
I would like it just to see all the saltiness, pettiness women in the WNBA get slapped in the face with whatever Caitlin Clark does is going to be successful. So you guys need to appreciate her a little bit more. I would love it. Go do your own shit. F the WNBA right now.
I agree. The WNBA never made money, was never on anybody's radar. One person has caused that to change. She has all the control and none of the love for it. All the greats from years past kind of shit on her. And I wouldn't blame her if she did. I think she has all the clout in the world to do it. But I also understand you want to focus on the sport and, you know, probably not make it about yourself. That's not really Caitlin's way. But I think she totally could do it.
So shout out to Sophie Cunningham. Obviously, the teammates benefiting from
the enforcer.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Bryce, what's this? You're telling me if Iran is going to come nuke the United States that we're in the hot spot?
We are apparently, according to White House briefings, not currently in war with Iran. That being said, we did drone strike them. We have blown up some nuclear bases, and there is some potential of this being a start of a war. Well, the Midwest as a whole is home to the stealth bombers and some of our nuclear sites and all this stuff. Just so happens Des Moines is a potential target, and I'll throw the graphic on the screen. But yeah, I think we talked about this a little bit off the pod. I don't think that we're in any serious danger. I don't have a lot of worry per se, but I will say Iran is allies with China and North Korea and Russia and some people that might be more capable of doing so. That being said, I don't think that this is what it's about. But
yeah, you're never really worried about the direct sources, more the allies, what they all have. So hopefully they don't see the Iowa Chill show over there in Iran. They're like, oh, they're tempting us. You don't think we have the balls to do it?
Yeah, there was one agonist, and it was these guys on some little show in the middle of Iowa, and we end up being the reason. No, I'm not worried, but it was kind of interesting.
I think Omaha has Iowa's like one of the worst places in the country to be because I think Omaha's got a base. I know Chicago, we're like dead center of it.
Yeah,
you would think it would be like one of the last spots to hit, but makes sense. You want to put all of your prime sources more inland than the outskirts of the land, so the missile has the attacking force has a longer ways to go. So
yeah. Had to bring it up just because it kind of took over the news cycle. Obviously, that's a big deal when you go bomb another country. But not too worried. It's just always funny seeing all the shit. It's World War III. We're gonna get drafted. Everyone freaks out and panics. But yeah, I feel like we're gonna be okay.
The State Fair announces butter cow companions. Bryce, what does this mean?
Yes. So, what has it been? 2 years since the first Caitlin Clark butter sculpture?
I think it's been longer than that, hasn't it?
Maybe 3?
Maybe 3.
Yeah. And kind of a scary memory for some. They did a good job, I will say. It's probably not easy to carve anything out of butter, but it's always kind of alarming when you see a human being in the form of butter. But Des Moines Register announces there's more companions to come, and I think they're almost opening nominations. But who would you like to see as a potential butter sculpture companion? What Iowa figure needs a butter sculpture?
Cooper DeJean.
Hands down, Coop.
Cooper DeJean, no doubt.
Yeah.
You got one?
If Brock Purdy wins the Super Bowl, I would have said Brock. If Tyrese could have closed the deal last night and not gotten injured, which I do think they would have won if he doesn't get injured, I would say Tyrese. But I think it's got to be Coop. Pick 6, biggest moment in maybe any Iowa sports person's history with that pick 6 against Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. I think it's got to be Coop.
Yeah, Tyrese is up there too because he had one of the best playoff runs from an individual player and most clutch plays in a stretch I've ever seen in the the NBA series. It just sucks the way it ended. You know, he's battling that calf injury for the last 2 games. Tried to stick through it. Got the last games done, the second to last game or game 6, and then man, he was playing high. He had 3 threes to start the game in game 7 here, and just took one bad step. I thought it was his Achilles, but it looks like he maybe tore his calf. I'm not exactly sure on the injury. I still think he probably deserves one. It's not like he lost; he got injured and got out. And leading up to that, he had one of the best stretches I've ever seen in the NBA.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a problem the next 5-6 years in the NBA. So cool for Iowa State fans. I'm sorry we can't. I don't think I can confidently say Purdy or Tyrese deserves one yet. And honestly, it's early for DeJean too. But that one moment and that one championship rings, that's kind of all it takes.
Did you see the basketball highlights with him, Coach McCollum?
Oh yeah.
We knew what we're gonna get off Cooper DeJean in those videos, even though how thick he is, he can still jump and get up there. But my God, Coach Ben McCollum.
I'm surprised you didn't have this as a topic for one of the news segments because to me, Ben McCollum was maybe the biggest thing that happened in Iowa last week. That guy can still ball.
Holy shit, can he move?
Yeah.
You know, when we had him on the podcast, I asked him, hey, who's going to win a game of one-on-one? You or Luke Lenhart? He's like, you kidding me? Me? I thought he was just a little confident stuff. No, now we see it. I'm like, man, if you're moving like that at this age, you must have been a problem back in college.
He blew past Cooper DeJean for a reverse layup, and I'm like, okay, if this is my coach, I respect about everything that he tells me to do from an offensive perspective.
My God.
That was impressive. And Coop still looks great. Coop looks thick, though.
Yeah, he's a thick boy. Dude, his neck. Oh, man.
That is crazy. That sophomore weight is going to be a problem for all of the NFC East.
I mean, remember he stopped Derrick Henry in his tracks last year and put him on his ass.
Yep.
Now add all this weight. You just hope he can still continue to move like Cooper.
Dude, I don't have any worries.
He's just a freak of nature. He's one of the best athletes that will ever come through the state of Iowa. He already is. Yep. So, man, that gets me excited for football season. Just seeing.
I know. Hey, we are on the dot, 2 months away from college football. So we are probably 6 weeks away from the college football preview, which was our inaugural podcast last year. I'm excited to do that again.
Yeah, we're coming up on a year straight of consecutive podcasts. So shout out to us. And nothing gets this podcast more than people's favorite segment. Get past us talking about random bull crap here in the state of Iowa to us ranking a top 5 segment here in the state of Iowa. And Bryce, we killed it last week with the top 5 redneck towns in Iowa. And again, people, we love redneck town in Iowa. We got a little hate for that, but we love them. This week, we're going to be ranking our top 5 favorite pizza joints here in the state of Iowa. And for the most part, when we do these top 5 segments, I feel like I put it together within 5-10 minutes. And like it might stick, it might not. This one, I feel pretty confident about my list.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah. That's awesome because I kind of feel the same way. And it's not that I would say, we'll frame it as the fact that, these are the top 5 spots, but I truly, went from the heart here. These are places that I've either worked at, ate at, whatever. Like I've been at all these spots, so I feel really good about it. And let's kick it off. All right, well, you start.
Bryce, you were once a pizza maker back in college too, weren't you?
Yeah, and we'll talk about it with my number 1.
Oh, okay. So my number 5, Bryce, is Wig and Penn's Pizza. Wig and Penn and Iowa City, their pizza. I love Wig and Penn for their Italian. They got one of my favorite pastas in the state. If we're going to do a ranking of pasta, they would probably be my number 1. But don't let their pizza fool you, man. It is good shit down there in Wig and Penn. Anything they do there, it's right. It's well done.
That is a great spot, and I completely forgot about it. And I kind of hope that's what happens. I hope this list that you have inspires me to go to some of these great spots because I totally forgot about Wig and Pen. I'm going to give an honorable mention to Great Plains Pizza in Ames before we really kick off this list. Just went up there 2 weeks ago, had a Great Plains Pizza. Lives up to all the memories that I had, all the times I visited Iowa State. We'd always grab a little Great Plains deep dish. I actually went with the thin crust this time. Still lives up to the hype, still one of my favorites. But to kick off the list, I'm going to go Stevie C's in Grimes. This is a true dive bar. I know we had a dive bar segment a couple months ago, and this is a true dive bar in the heart of Grimes, Main Street. And it is unassuming looking. It's very, very thin pizza, but it is damn good. Cracker crust, bar style, elite. I
Are
hope
you
that
more
we
of
can
a
get
thin
to.
crust guy?
Totally depends. Totally depends on how you do it. I've had great deep dish. I've had great Detroit style. Good thin here and there is great too.
Yeah, I'm a big thin guy. You're number 4, Bryce.
Tommaso's. So here we go. There's a Detroit style pizza, Tommaso's in Cedar Rapids. This is kind of an OG spot. I have grandparents and aunts and uncles in Cedar Rapids area. This is like a pre-vacation order. Detroit style is fun because you get a little tomato sauce on top. You get the buttery crust on the edge, and it's probably a little bit biased because it reminds me of being a kid. But Tommaso's makes my number 4.
Where's that at?
Cedar Rapids.
Cedar Rapids. Okay, nice. So you've got the metro lockdown, and now you have a little eastern side walk down.
Yep.
My number 4 is going back to my hometown, Algona. Listen, there's not a whole bunch of awesome restaurants outside of maybe Emeralds, where the world's largest Cheeto is,
Yep.
and the Premier Pizza. We call it Premier Pizza Thursdays. That's when you get Premier Pizza. I would say if you're going to rank cheese sticks in the state of Iowa, I'd give them number 1. Premier Pizza is
Oh, wow.
awesome.
Okay.
They
Sweet.
used to serve it at all of our basketball games, football games, you name it. Premier Pizza was always there, man. And God, it is. And the problem is, I forget it's there. Well, usually when I go home, the parents have home cooked meals. But next time I go there, if it's on my mind, Premier Pizza is coming home with me. It's a great spot.
Love that. Love that. I also got a little hometown in me too. I'm glad that you shouted out the hometown.
My number 3 is, I just experienced this not too long ago. The Lucky Horse on Drake University in Des Moines. My brother and I were there and my family were there for the Drake versus Bradley game, basketball game this winter. And my brother and I split a chicken Alfredo thin crust pizza. And Colby walked out saying it might have been the best pizza he's ever had in his life.
Wow.
And I forgot
High
how
praise
good
from the
that pizza
Colbs.
was. And I love this place. I've given this shout out. I can't remember if it made my top 5 bar or not. It's a great place.
I think
great
you
location.
did put it in your top 5 bar just because of that recency bias. But at the same time, I do love the Lucky Horse. I think that's a great spot in general. Never had their pizza. Might have to do that.
Yeah.
You or me?
You for number 3.
Number 3, Polly Eyes Pizza in Grinnell. Polly Eyes has a spot in Iowa City as well, and they may have another location, but I've only been to the Grinnell locale. We've worked with those guys before in the past. He's done all kinds of crazy stuff, but I give them a shout out because they make a damn good pie. And during COVID, he figured out a way to get Dave Portnoy a pizza. He mailed all the way to New York to get Dave a frozen pizza review, which kind of kickstarted his food delivery system during COVID when he couldn't have people in that Grinnell location. So shout out to the ingenuity there, but also just an incredible, basic, delicious pizza.
I did not know that.
Number 2, I got to go to the hometown and the Apostolopoulos family. Shout out to Paulie, a good buddy from Pella, and his family. George's Pizza makes my number 2. Greek style. Paulie's dad lived in Greece, and I don't remember when they came to Iowa, but they have been busting their ass for many, many years, and they make a great za. I think about it every time I go to town, and I need to get one soon. Great za.
Bryce, my number 2 is, we're getting in a special. This will not be the first time this place has been mentioned on the pod. It was early mentioned by Mr. Rob Stan. Number 2, up in Decorah, one of my favorite towns in the state of Iowa, Mabe's Pizza. Anytime your pizza is cut in squares, it's going to taste better. I don't care what you tell me.
This is
Thin
true.
crust square pizza is the way to go because you can eat a shit ton of it while feeling like you're not eating a shit ton of it, and
Yep.
it makes life easier. And I'm all about easy, accessible bites to my mouth, especially when I'm eating pizza here. So Mabe's is one of the best. Anytime my sister-in-law comes home from Wisconsin to New Hampton, she stops in Decorah to grab some Mabe's pizza, bring home to the family.
Is
An old time place.
was your last trip there float down the Iowa River the first time you had Mabes?
No, I've had Mabe's. I didn't have
Okay.
Mabe's this time, but I've had Mabe's multiple times.
Okay.
Yeah,
That
I've
is
been to
something
the
I want to
restaurant.
try.
Yeah.
Now your review and Rob Sand's review. It
Mhm.
makes it sound
It's
awesome. And I
legit.
love
It's
a good
legit.
square pizza.
It's probably going to be arguably number one pizza joint in the state of Iowa by a lot of Iowans, especially here in eastern Iowa.
Okay. I will give that a shot next time I'm up there.
I think I'm at my number one now. Found back my
Yeah.
number one.
Yep.
My number one's kind of a little gem in the dirt here, Bryce.
Okay.
Not a lot of people know about it, but I just discovered it for the first time maybe 2 months ago. It's called Poor Richards in New Hampton, Iowa.
Okay.
Square Pizza. We went there on I kind of like I said, summertime 2 months ago. Didn't know anything about it. Like, oh, we're gonna get a pizza, and I heard some good things about it. We got 3 large pizzas, all square, and our family took care of it. It's one of those. It's like crack. You couldn't stop eating it.
Yeah.
It didn't matter how much pizza you already had in your stomach. You found more room in your stomach to digest more of Poor Richard's pizza into your system. Couldn't get enough of it. I've only been there once. I'm gonna get it next time I go to New Hampton.
That sounds awesome. And I'm
Awesome.
glad you brought the square. The square slice is something I did not even consider, but I did notice that 2 of mine are square slices, and it does something to me. And I totally agree. It's that feeling of being able to continue eating it without having that full thing in your hand. Like
Oh
it
God,
feels better.
it's a
I like
hack.
that. Haven't had that one either, but I'm excited to try it maybe sometime going up to New Hampton. I'm going to round out the number one best pizza in the state of Iowa, Need Pizza, also in Cedar Rapids. 2 Cedar Rapids joints mentioned, but Need Pizza takes the cake. It is, I don't think, the newest pizza place in Cedar Rapids, but it has definitely taken the entire eastern part of the state by storm. I did have some time in the pizza making industry, and you did mention that. And I didn't work making pizzas there, but I certainly enjoyed being a host there and then learning about my favorite pizza topping of all time, giardiniera. So I learned how to make some pretty damn good combinations, even if I wasn't making the dough. But
You were
yes, back in
making
the
you were making dough back in college though at the Union, weren't you?
I was rolling dough. I've never made dough, and that's something that I wish I would have learned because we do like a homemade pizza night between me and my fiance, and I really would like to just be an expert dough maker because the reason Need is the best pizza is because they do that New Haven style crust where it's really, really flat and doughy and chewy, but it's like you feel like you're chewing into a lot with a thin crust, and I would love to know how to make that. But yes, I only rolled dough and got to put on toppings at the mock reunion, which good memories there too.
Man, you got a lot of history and a lot of knowledge in the pizza making industry. It almost
Yep.
means be a tour for you throughout the state of Iowa. And this was a tough list to do, man. There are so many good pizza places in the state that my list could have gone either other way. And
Yep.
we did our best to leave out like top name brands like a Casey's, a Pizza Ranch, or a
Yep.
Domino's. That's a whole argument for itself. Okay, so a lot of people are gonna be pissed that Casey's Pizza did not crack the top five. It's a
Yeah.
great pizza. It's just in a different segment of its own.
That's a whole different idea. It's
Uh-huh.
when you're in a bind and you need a last second little tide me over kind of thing. That was Casey's, and it always filled that hole. So many even local spots that I didn't even get to mention. Eatery A in Des Moines, and yes, Nate, this is a topic that is right up my alley, and I don't know if I'll ever do an official review. I think Portnoy's got that covered, but
Yeah.
I
God, but
I am a
people would
fan.
love to see it though. You would hate to take over Portnoy thing. I totally get it,
Hmm.
but I know people would like to see, hey, who's got that best pizza here in the state of Iowa? Because what you
Yep.
forget about is like last night we got Toad's Pizza. I got pizza
Yeah.
from Toad's
Right.
last night, and that's what kicked off the segment. I'm like, hey, let's do a pizza ranking segment. So a restaurant that you don't even think anything of pizza has great pizza. You know,
Yes. True. That is
that's
where it would
what's
get
so
interesting.
hard about it.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
great top 5 list. I'm excited to see if we get any comments on good spots to try. Like I said, I'm willing to go a little bit out of my way for a good za.
yeah, we're gonna piss a lot of people off in this one. They're gonna be asking for our execution because we didn't name their hometown
Yeah,
pizza up in
yeah.
Northwest Iowa that we'd
Hmm.
never been to or heard of. So I would still, yeah, I would love to hear you guys' pizza joints out there, man. I'm on a pizza kick right now, so if there's ever a time, now is the time.
Cool. Hey, fun episode. I know we were kind of all over the place. We're pissed off at the win, but
Yeah,
still fun nonetheless.
it was like that 3-4 week segment where we couldn't even do a podcast just because we're so pissed off.
Yeah.
You know, we kind of got a little taste of that again. I think by hopefully next week that the shit's died down.
Yep. Yeah. Pray for a nice 4th of July so you don't have to hear us complaining.
All right, everyone, have a good week.
All right. See you guys.